Yeah, good evening, everyone. Today's session is more like a live session, actually, where I'm going to introduce a couple of tools, or three tools to be precise, where we spend most of our time on eBird tool, which we are going to use it for our survey in the later part. Apart from that, I'll also talk about Merlin and Birds of the World, two resources which are extremely important for you, for all the volunteers who wants to learn about bird watching. So I think this document is already shared with you all. It is there in our Google Drive, which is shared with you all. But if you are not sure, just drop a message in the chat. Kishore and Gopal, whoever is going to, they'll share you the location. So today's session is about, I'll introduce eBird first. After that, Merlin Bird ID and also Birds of the World, how you can use these tools for actually for exploration of areas and also to find birds in your region and how to identify birds and everything. So these three tools are three different tools. Every tool has its own importance and every tool is essential in what it is needed for that. So we'll start with Merlin Bird ID when I'll show it live later, where this main purpose of Merlin Bird ID is to identify birds, learn about birds. And if you have seen, like in all the previous sessions, in the last previous four sessions, what we talked, there is a way to identify birds, right? Step by step bird ID guide, which will, when I show it, you will understand. But Merlin Bird ID tool is primarily used for identification of birds by sound, by photo, or by features, whatever you've been captured. That's the primary thing. Apart from that, it also gives you the list of birds for the pack you downloaded. So it's a very important beginners tool for everybody to actually explore. So this is important. If somebody who hasn't downloaded, download it now. Keep it ready for the later part. Okay, now I'll talk about eBird. So eBird is slightly where if you want to document your observations, whatever birds you have seen. Now previously we introduced in four sessions or three sessions to be precise, where we talked about how to identify birds in different kinds of habitat. We talked about wetland birds, we talked about woodland birds, we also talked about generalist birds. So once you know how to identify, then eBird will help you to document those observations. So I'll open and I'll show it to you how eBird will look like. So this is, so when you log in, right? Once you open eBird.org site, this is how an eBird looks like. And there are multiple ways. Now I didn't log in. If I log in, that entire screen will change for my use case. But before you log in, so somebody who hadn't created an account in eBird, try to create an account by clicking get started. You can click get started, create an account. I already created, so I'm not clicking get started. For beginners, just create an account in eBird. That same account what you created in eBird can also be used in Merlin. So remember that the same username and password which you create for eBird can be used in Merlin and also Birds of the World. All three resources use the same credentials. So keep that in mind because all these are developed by Cornell Lab. So, but to understand what exactly is eBird, this is a good feature. There are three important features of eBird. First is that it can document your sightings. The middle one is what it is important, what we are going to do. So let's say you went to a place for bird watching. So whatever birds you're going to see, those can be documented and shared with all the global community. That is the reason it says that share your sightings. That's the important thing of the eBird. Next is it will also help you to explore birds in your region. The region could be your area, which could be your district, or smaller than your neighborhood also can be, you can explore. Also, you are exploring a bigger regions, let's say a country, you can explore that. I'll try to show you how do you explore birds in your neighborhood and also around the world. And the last important thing is where once you get used to these two features, the third one is it will track your list or track your entire birds what you observed in your life, all the birds whatever you documented or tracked, and you can keep a track of your birds. Not only your birds, you can also keep a track of as a birds of a region. All these are the three important features of eBird. Now, since I didn't log in, it is not showing. Let me log in and show it how the screen looks like for me. So I'm just clicked it. Now I logged in automatically. Now you see immediately the left hand screen, it's showing my life list. The birds which I've seen in the entire region is shown. So, and you see at the top one, there are three important stuff which I'm going to talk about. For now, I'll show you submit in a mobile app. So I'll not talk about how to do a submission, because submission is where you use this tool to submit your observations. Keep that in mind. But I'll concentrate now on the explore part, where you can, how can you use this tool for exploring the regions. Now in this case, when I'm clicking explore, there are multiple features which are shown. So you can explore by species. Let's say you are interested to learn about a species. You can use this explore species feature. If you want to explore a region, you can use the explore region feature. Apart from that, you also have very interesting other features in explore, where you can explore species map. If somebody you are interested to see a species map, you can use this feature. Also explore hotspots. Hotspots are nothing else but the places in a region. You wanted to explore, let's say you wanted to know what all the hotspots in Hyderabad, you can use this explore hotspot feature. And if you want to search for photos and sounds which are already submitted in eBird, you can use this feature. But today's session will concentrate more about the regions and the explore features, and maybe one species where you can see the maps. There are other features which I use it regularly, or target species and alerts right now, but today's session will limit to the top one. But imagine target species are nothing else but the target species for you. In my case, for me, what all the target species for a region which I am going to visit. For now, we will not concentrate on these features which are below, but we'll concentrate on the explore. Let's say we are concentrating on the regions. Let's say I am interested in what all the birds which are seen in Hyderabad region. I'm just giving an example. So when I'm exploring by region, it gives you. Now, in the previous sessions, you might have, we are showing a screen to you. There are 275 birds documented from Hyderabad. This is where the data comes from. And you are interested to see what species are documented, you can further explore. Now I am in Hyderabad region, I am exploring further. Now you see there are multiple options on the left side, which talks exclusively related to the Hyderabad region. Here I am more interested in what are all the hotspots which are there in Hyderabad. This is one feature where we actually see, these are all the hotspots which are there in Hyderabad region. If you change the region to Telangana, you'll get all the hotspots in Telangana. And in this case, my region is Hyderabad. And now you can see which areas in Hyderabad are more active for birds. Now, somebody if is planning for, let's say, which places you wanted to go, this is a perfect place where you can see. Sanjivaya Park is the maximum number of species which are documented in the Hyderabad region, followed by Nehru Zoological Park. So you get an idea, right? How we can use explore in different ways. Also, again in explore, if let's say you are interested to know about a species, let's say I'll give an example. Red-vented bulbul is one example which I'm thinking. Okay, you can look for that species and now learn something about that identification, how to identify red-vented bulbul. Some species of red-vented bulbul are given. Let's say that in this case, the distribution map of red-vented bulbul is also given. Somebody is interested to see the distribution map, you can see. So any species you wanted to learn further, you can use this feature to understand about a specific bird and also about this one. Okay, and region and species are important ways. Apart from that, the species map is very interesting way to understand the distribution of any species. In this case, let me try a different bird called forest wagtail. One bird we discussed during our woodland topic. And now in this case, I am also trying to filter around Hyderabad. I wanted to see whether any forest wagtails are being spotted in Hyderabad region. Now you got it. I think this is where if you attended Gopal session, he gave you the distribution map of forest wagtail, and here it is where it is seen. Okay, so this is one way to understand. Now, let's say you are interested, you are close to, I am very close to this region. So this was reported at KBR Park in 2019. So some of this. So remember, there are ways, in this case, there are bigger drops like blue color, right? There are some cases where you will see red dots also. Red dots are like the recent records, whereas here all the blue dots signify that they are all historical reports, which are the older records. Okay, but this one is also an interesting way to understand. Let's say you are interested to see whether any documentation is available. So then this one will give you, there are photos. Documentation is nothing else but whether somebody has taken pictures or they just reported that. So in this case, there is a documentation of forest wagtail from Usmania University in 2019, and there is a picture which was submitted. You wanted to see the picture, click that and go further into that and see whether there is a. So now see, this is how a forest wagtail looks. Okay, this is how you actually go deeper and deeper into any specific bird and understand its behavior, where it was sighted, and what other birds are shown, seen on that bird can also be seen. So use these two features. One is three features in this case. One is explore by species, explore by region, explore by species map, and explore hotspot. Anyway, you go to region and immediately you'll get all that feature. So use those features to know more about birds. Now also there is a way, this, if you are interested to see your records, right, you can use my eBird tab. In this case, I am showing my records. See, this is how this actually documents your entire birding history. So this will give you a snapshot. Now I am interested to see what I have seen in Telangana. I am not interested in India, but I am interested in Telangana. So it gives you immediately. It gives you an immediately how many species I have seen in Telangana. 422 species is what I have seen, and what are the latest checklists which I created, where I went, all the details will be shown, and how many checklists I created in Telangana region is shown. Okay, how many species I documented is one thing, and how many species I seen globally. All these are managed and everything is mentioned here. The trip reports, I think we'll not discuss now. And here again, by region, by each and every district, how many species I have seen in each and every district in Telangana is been listed. Very important tool, very interesting tool. eBird helps you document, as I mentioned, not only your sightings, you can also see who are all the active bird watchers in Telangana. That can also be seen. In any region, you can see the top 50 bird watchers in India, or you're going to a new place, let's say in US. Okay, you can go and try to see. Not only this tool is not only for at India level, any place you wanted to, let's say I'm planning to visit Tamil Nadu. Okay, planning to visit Tamil Nadu in future. So you can enter that region, try to see what birds can be seen in that region. Okay, so this is how we use this. Now I'll also talk about, there is a submit. This is where the important stuff, each and every record which you can submit. So we'll concentrate more on the, I'll also show once from here, let's say how to submit a checklist from the desktop. But later I will show how to use it, how you can submit a checklist by mobile app. Mobile app is the most frequently used because mobile app works in the places where there is no network also. So, but here the desktop app only works when you have network. Now, let's say that I visited Sanjeevaya Park. I wanted to submit Sanjeevaya Park list. Okay. So this is similar in mobile app. When did I visit? Let's say today I visited. What is today's date? 20th. And what type of observation is this? So there are any checklist, right? Observation, okay, or any the bird type of bird watching. There are four types of, primarily four types of observations is possible. One is whether you are walking or going in a vehicle. That becomes a traveling, where you are actually actively moving in the field. That will become a traveling checklist. Let's say you are actually sitting in a balcony and you are observing birds, then it becomes a stationary checklist. Let's say that you observed birds over a period of time, not at the current time, but you wanted to document the historical checklist which you documented around 1 year back or previous days, you can do a historical checklist. Okay. And then there is a incidental checklist. Usually this is also important. Let's say your primary purpose is not bird watching, but you are going from place A to place B traveling, and suddenly you say very interesting bird on the highway. So you wanted to document that, that will become an incidental checklist. Okay. So remember these four types. All for our bird class, it will be mostly traveling or stationary. Okay, whatever we're going to do it in Bird Atlas, it will be either a traveling checklist because you will be walking. But if you are in a cell where you cannot walk and you can bird only one place, then it becomes a stationary. This you try to remember. These are the only two which we are going to do it in the survey. So let me put a traveling. So it means that traveling checklist is where I actually walked. I remember that I walked. What time I walked? It is 6:30 in the morning. Okay, AM. What is the duration? 1 hour. And how many kilometers I walked? One. And how what is the party size is nothing else but how many people boarded together. Okay. And you wanted to add more comments into the checklist. Let's say you wanted to document how is the weather. It's a cloudy day. Okay, it's a cloudy day. Or is there any purpose? Let's say it's a HBA Bird Atlas program is part of that. Then you enter the comments. Okay. And then click next. This is where you get all the species which are frequently seen. So first, the section, what you are seeing, if you see, there are multiple ways they are actually segregated. See, one is the frequently seen birds are shown on top. Frequency more than 10% is what is shown on top. It means that they are frequently seen birds in the Sanjeevaya Park. Remember what place you selected. And then later, now before after frequent, there is infrequent birds. It means that the birds are there, but they are not reported regularly from Sanjeevaya Park. Okay? That's how it is. Okay. Now let's say sometimes you may have seen, and apart from that, there is not reported. It means that these species are not been reported in Sanjeevaya Park till now. These three, how they are categorized. Along with this, so let's say sometimes what happens, you might see a bird which is not listed at all from here. Then you can search that bird either by add species or by show rarities. Show rarities are rare species which are actually has filtered not to be shown in public. Let's say I click show rarities. It will uh, take some time. Now you see common pochard is a rare bird for this region, for entire district. In this case, for Hyderabad, the filter is there. So that's the reason common pochard is a rare bird. But if you are entering some common pochard in this case, you cannot submit this bird, this species because it will ask for some details about that bird. Because it is a rare bird, you need to provide some proof. That is the only condition. Whereas when you report, I'll submit couple of species in this case, which I'll anyway delete this checklist later. Let's say peafoals is what I've seen regularly. Spotted doves or something, rock pigeons or some others. Okay. I'm just quickly showing what birds I have seen, and then you can submit this checklist. Okay. Now this is the checklist I created. This is how we create checklist in a bird atlas. Okay. Any questions till now? If not, I will show how to use a mobile app. Mobile app is what we are going to use for the entire one. Mobile app and extra features. Apart from this, mobile app also tracks your location. Okay. If no, maybe what I'll do is I'll log in from a mobile. I'll share my screen. I'll stop sharing from here and I'll share my screen from mobile and show how we can use mobile app for the same eBird app. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Give me a second, please. Hello, can you all see my screen?
Yes, Sriram.
Okay. So, what do you see now? Do you see my eBird? Can you see?
Yes, Sriram, we can see.
Okay, fine. Great, my friend. So now, this is how you start the checklist. When I am clicking this, you will see there is a record track. So if I disable, so it will not record your track. But I wanted to enable. When we do a survey, you make sure that record track is enabled because you will know whether you are there uh, in the cell which was assigned to you. That remember this part. And then I am clicking the start. So now this is the same thing. What I showed previously. Let's say P4 is one which have spotted down some of the birds which I've seen. Asian coil. And then okay, I'll just stop. And then when I'm stopping it, so it is showing the same thing what you showed. In this case, it's a stationary because I didn't move. And how many minutes I did this survey is 15 minutes. So this is what, and I also am saying submitting a checklist is complete. Remember that it's always because complete checklists are nothing else but the checklist which you are, all the birds which you have seen in that 15 minutes, you are clear that you have seen each and every bird has been reported. Okay. So stationary bird will not have any kilometers because you're not moving. But if you make it to traveling, okay, suddenly you need to enter the kilometers. This is the only difference, stationary and traveling. So this is how you submit it. Now when I'm submitting, it will pick up the location where I am. Now in this case, I am from Begumpet. So it will pick up the location. So before I entered in the desktop app, whereas here it picks you the live location and from there you can submit. Select the location and submit. Okay, but I'm not submitting now. But let's say that when a cell is assigned to you, so you know the name of the cell, you can rename that cell. Okay, rename the cell with the name what is given to you and use that location and submit. Okay, this is how I submitted from there. Okay, so this is how you use a mobile app. So mobile app also help you to explore. There is an explore button. So mobile app will help you what are all the hotspots around this my region. So it picked up my remark. From there, it is showing the hotspots around that. So this can be also, let's say in this case, I kept only 1 kilometer radius. Let me make it 5 kilometers. So when I'm saying 5 kilometer, see additional hotspots came. In this case, you can see all the red color one are the hotspot. Now Sanjeeva Park is the nearest one. So I can go there, I can bird over there. So it helps you to plan the areas around you. So let's say you go to a new place and you are not sure what hotspots are there. So you can use this explore button and understand more button. Okay. Uh, Also, it shows you the targets. Okay. Live targets, any live targets you have it, right? It will connect to the eBird and then it will show you there. Okay. This we didn't discuss because the target species which I showed you, right? It is not needed for this session, but this is directly goes there and shows you all the targets for me, in this case, for Hyderabad County. So now you see the lesser white throat is one thing. Okay. So use mobile app for entire survey. So you need to be start using this app regularly and start documenting birds in your place. So very important tool. Okay. And for the survey also. Okay. Now I'll show you the other app, which is Merlin Bird Idea. So every session we talked about that, asking you to download Merlin, right? So this is the app which now you have step by step sound ID and bird ID. So step by step ID is what we are talking in all the birding session. So now when we showed, right, 5 Ws of bird watching, right? This is what is a 5 bird. Where did you see the bird? I'm talking about Hyderabad. Okay. When did you see? Okay. This is today. Let's say you. And what is the size of the bird? Let me say crow size bird. And what colors did you see? Let's say this all depends you how many details you observed in the field. So I'm just saying black, red, and some kind of gray. And what bird is doing? This is the behavior of the bird. So I saw the bird in the bushes, and it gives you the list of results. So this is what the bird I am talking about. But if it is not the bird, you have to see whether other birds is there. For me, I know I have seen the bird. This is a greater cowcall. So I know this is a bird, and you can learn about the bird and play the call, whether you hear the call or not. Okay. I'm not sure whether you can hear. Okay.
No, I can't hear actually.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But you can try it in the field. So step by step, ID is what we are talking in all our birdings, and then there is a sound record. So it'll what sound record is going to do was it'll keep on hearing the calls, and it'll try to identify. Okay, so now it will not work because there are no birds which are calling. Okay, but these are some of the sound recording which I have seen in the previous place. Use it because this will help you to learn birds about by call. So very interesting tool. And then if you have taken a picture, use this feature called photo ID. Let's say these birds are not from India, but I will select this bird. And I don't know the location also. I'm just leaving it. And it give you a potential idea. This is how it identifies. Okay. Let me put an Indian bird. So this I know where I clicked. So I clicked in Telangana, and it is a wintering time. Last week I clicked. It gives you where it fly. So Merlin most of the time accurately identifies birds by photo. Most of the birds, okay, and also sound ID also works very well for some species. Warblers, which are very difficult to identify by picture, but it can identify by sound ID. Sound ID. So use when to use sound ID, when to use photo ID, and when to use step ID. Very interesting tool for the beginners. So don't miss this. Okay. Any questions till now? Okay. Let me log in from desktop again. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, Gopal. Yes, Sriram.
Yes, Sriram.
Heard.
Okay. So sorry, I got an echo. That's the reason I while showing with mobile, it was a very difficult time for me. Now I think it is fine. I'm back to my desktop. So let me share. So now apart from Merlin and eBird, there is one more tool. One second. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So now apart from Merlin and eBird, there is one more resource called Birds of the World. So this resource, right, is actually a paid resource for the entire world except for India. So make sure that you use this tool regularly because since it is free for India, right? So you should actually use. The only thing is you need to log in. Once you log in, so for Indian users, Birds of the World is free app. So don't miss this. Okay. So don't miss this resource. And here, Birds of the World is slightly advanced for people who wants to learn more about birds, right? Let's say red-winged bulbul. Before, now you see red-winged bulbul. If somebody wants to go deep inside red-winged bulbul, understand its plumage, how to identify this bird, what diet it is eats, what sounds, how it calls, the behavior of the bird, the breeding behavior of the bird, what is the habitat, all the details of the all birds in the world has been given here. So very interesting tool for people who wants to go deep into each and every species. Somebody wants to learn more about that. How many subspecies are there in that red-winged bulbul? All that can be seen and understand. Somebody wants to know the local names of red-winged bulbul. That also can be easily seen here. Let's say in this case the names, right? Now you see all the names. How red-winged bulbul is called. Let's say you are interested in Hindi or Telugu. You can see the names. Okay, so very interesting resource for everybody. Okay, so use all three resources. When to use each and everything, you need to know. Okay, eBird is for documenting your sightings. Merlin is for identification of birds. Birds of the World is for people who are serious into bird watching, where you wanted to know more about different types of subspecies and also the breeding behavior of the bird. You want to know more about the bird and everything, use these three resources and use effectively. Okay, any questions? We'll take questions from now. We'll spend more time answering your questions.
Yeah, please raise your hand and then we can enable the voice part.
Any questions? No questions? Are you guys clear or got confused? Hello.
Yeah, so Sriram, I would
Yeah.
like to transfer a question which was asked in the question and answer sessions.
Okay.
So, is there a possibility that I can do birding at one point in time and then submit a checklist on a later point using eBird?
Yeah, that can be done. But why? The first thing is you don't want to submit at the right moment, but you wanted to do it later,
Yeah,
right?
I think that is a gross understanding.
Okay, then you can do it. We usually do it because sometimes what happens in the field, you don't want to spend time in creating checklist, but you wanted to do it later, that can be done. But make sure that you are actually accurately remember all the species. Let's say that some people are interested to, instead of using eBird, they wanted to write the species on on a notebook. So they can do that, write it on a notebook and go home, start documenting those things in eBird desktop app. Also mobile app, both can be used for documenting. Not an issue at all.
Praveen, you can unmute and ask.
Yeah, I have used this Merlin eBird for a trial purpose. So it is capturing photos, and if the photo is very clear, it is giving the exact species. Otherwise, it will give some one or two options near to that genre or species.
Hmm.
So when we are doing compulsory photograph, mobile photo is sufficient, or you need to take a good camera and photograph and record it.
So for the Atlas you're talking about, or in
Yeah,
general?
for the survey,
For the survey. So
don't
for survey, so remember that we don't
yeah.
need photographs for all the common species. You need to submit
Oh,
documentation. Let's say that in this case, right, red-banded bulbul, it doesn't need what is that documentation. If you are sure about the identification,
okay.
but
Right,
documentation
right.
is
Okay.
needed for species which are actually are infrequently, or it is very rare for that region. For that, you need to take
Okay.
some kind of
Yeah.
documentation. Documentation again is in the form of photo, in the form of
Okay.
audio recording, or in the form of how you accurately saw in the field. You don't need a photo or a
Mm.
voice recording. But if you can, let's say in
Mm.
this case, the red-banded bulbul, right? I don't have a picture, but
Okay.
can I document in such a way that saying that it has a black face, slightly curved beak, short bill,
Okay.
and there is a
Okay.
red color on the vent, and
Right.
more brownish upper parts and kind of creamish underparts. If you can define it, that is
Yeah.
also accepted as a
Uh,
documentation.
but Merlin is giving a good amount of data. Means and birds of the world also. I think most of the data for a beginner also it will be easy to recognize. But during survey we need to note down either as a sound or a written note down and submit. Right?
Yeah. So also remember that during the
Yeah.
survey, every team will have a team lead.
Okay.
Let's say you again, how many years of experience you have? If
I
I'm
have a few years during my college days. Then I continued some interest. That's it. But at
okay.
least
When we ask for registration, right? There is an option. How many
yeah,
years
I have
experience?
written. I have written some 5 years or so in that.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually, the team leads are the people who are actually experienced people. We
Yeah. Yeah.
handpick them,
Understood.
and
Understood.
then you will be assigned to the team.
Okay.
You will be assisting the team lead first thing in the form of showing him the bird and also
Okay.
documenting the mobile app. Let's say in this case I showed you, right? You
Yeah. Yeah.
will be,
But anyway, before survey, we will have a physical meeting. I
yeah,
hope
yeah, multiple meetings. So
meeting.
where
So,
you actually, let's say that we are also planning for a bird walk. You can put the
right. Right.
mobile app in use and try to understand. If you have any queries on that day, you can reach out to us and ask questions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Gajendra, you can ask your question.
Okay, thanks. I think partly it was answered right now. So there is no compulsory to submit the photos for all the common species, right?
Yeah, yeah. It is.
So yeah, okay. And see, practically for beginners, if if we make a mistake, like how do we like? Is it something very difficult to submit, or is it okay to make some mistakes when we
So
submit?
now there are two things. You identify making mistakes in the field is common for even for experience. We do
Okay.
make mistakes in the field. Okay. But when you are submitting a checklist, you are absolutely needs to be sure that you are actually making the right decision. So in that
Okay.
case, let's say you have a doubt. Let's say in this case, you know it is a bulbul, but you are not sure
Mm.
what bulbul it is. Okay. Then whatever details you captured, you can enter under bulbul, not under red-banded bulbul. If you are putting something under that species, it means that you are 100% sure about the ID. Okay. But if you have, let's say in this case, during the survey, as I mentioned previously, there is always a team lead who is going to help you. Okay. Have a
Okay.
discussion. You'll be having a discussion with the team lead, and team lead should agree that whatever you are seeing is
Yeah,
correct.
I would like to add another point here. So if you're making a mistake and a wrong bird is identified, for example, a cockatiel in the center of Hyderabad or a macaw which is center of Hyderabad, all the data which is generated through eBird goes through a rigorous review process.
Yeah.
So it
Mm.
will not show up in the public output until and unless it is reviewed and then confirmed. So there is a team of people, including Sriram, who also reviews such such what you call mistaken identities, and then can also ask the person who's submitting for some additional evidence, or may also find that bird is not present in that region and also can filter out the data. Such
Okay.
instances are quite common, but then you don't have to worry. But as much as possible,
Yeah.
keep your data, because it will be filtered out from the public list, but in your list, that error will still keep.
Mm.
Because your list is your personal list, and then nobody has an access to your list. So at some point in time in future, if you realize that it is not a Mecca in the wild from Hyderabad, you always can go back to the checklist and then make the correction. So anytime this
Okay.
edit is also possible, which gives you that flexibility to correct the errors if there are any.
So
Okay. Okay.
to answer
Okay.
any n number of changes, you can do the checklist. Let's say that best thing is Gajendra. Let's say you are sure about 5 birds. Okay,
Mhm.
create a checklist with 5 birds. But you are not sure with other 5 birds. Have a discussion with a larger group. Let's say in this case we have WhatsApp group. Have a discussion. Let's say that you got your other 5 birds. You can always update your checklist anytime. Understood?
Okay. Okay. Great. Thanks.
So let's say, can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now in this case, we already, I created a checklist, right? Let's say from Sanjaya Park, if you a few minutes
Mm.
before I created checklist, let's say I remember that I need to add one more species. You can always edit the species, and let's say you made a mistake, it is not Indian P4, you remove Indian P4, add one more species.
Okay.
You can always do update based on the new evidence, what you found out.
Okay.
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 X number of
Thank
species.
you.
And sometimes the reviewer will also ask you to change the species, because let's say that you got a picture, you identified, let's say in this case, a laughing dove, a spotted dove and
Mm.
a laughing dove, and you updated a picture. Okay. So observers or reviewers, whoever is there, he might see that your picture, what you uploaded is some different bird. They might ask you
Mm.
to change it. There also it happens.
Okay.
Like Gopal mentioned, there is a review process, okay, long review process. Review process happen at multiple levels. One is at the state level. It also happens at
Mm.
national level, and also it happens at the international level. Okay,
Okay.
for a period of time.
Okay. Thank you.
Akhil, go ahead.
Uh,
Unmute him.
I wanted to ask how to log in into uh, Birds of the World,
Birds of the world. Okay.
because
Okay.
I tried before and it was like subscribe.
No. You can use the eBird credentials. Simple.
Oh, okay.
So subscribe is for the outside people. If you are from India, you can just log in with eBird credentials. It is free for Indians. So make sure you use this Birds of the World. I know it is a paid app for the rest of the world. For Indians, it is free. You can try it, Akhil.
Thanks.
Okay, I have one more user. I don't know the name, some Samsung phone who wants to ask a question.
Yeah, hi, Shankulita here.
Yes,
Uh,
Anjali. Go ahead.
yeah, so that during a survey, a basic question, say, I mean, I am a beginner. So suppose I saw a bird and I don't know the name, but I can just see its features. So
Yeah.
what will be the best process? I mean, shall I note it down in my notebook? Because at that time maybe Merlin is not working, or I'm not finding the name of that
Yeah.
particular bird in Merlin. So shall I note it down and later I discuss it with my team lead, or what will be the exact scenario in the field?
Yeah, in the
Uh,
field, team lead
hmm,
is always with you, Shonalita. First thing.
hmm,
Apart from that, let's say sometimes team lead can also is not sure about a bird, right? You can
hmm,
always enter by bird. Okay. Okay. Let's say it's a sunbird, but you are not sure which sunbird it is. You can
hmm, hmm,
enter something and add details into that. Okay. Either you can write it in a notepad and later you can identify, or you can enter into eBird. Let's say in this case, a reddish, small looking bird. Okay.
hmm, hmm.
Busy moving from one place to another place. Okay. This is how you can enter. The same way you are entering into a notebook can also be entered here, and it should be entered under the bird, which is like bird.sp. Okay, is also one bird which is there, which you are not sure. Let's say bulbul.sp. He is like SP is nothing
Okay,
else, but you are not sure. You know that it is a bulbul, but you are not
hmm,
sure which bulbul it is. Then you
okay,
can
okay.
enter under that. Okay.
No,
But,
like
yeah.
that. Maybe there is a I saw a bird which is a thrush, but I don't know. I know only sparrow. So it's a sparrow looking. The bird is looking like a sparrow.
Yeah.
So I I mean how do I know it's a thrush if I don't know the name
Yeah,
the
do
thrush?
one thing. What you can do is bird.sp is one thing, or else you can write it on a notepad, discuss with your team lead,
Yeah, that will be easy.
or
Okay,
discuss in the larger group, or create a checklist without that bird for now. But remember
without the
as
bird.
many details, discuss and later update it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Hmm. Thank you.
One more hand.
Yes, Shivani,
Uh,
go ahead.
yeah. So when I used to bird with my college colleagues, we like one person would make the checklist and they would share the checklist with everyone later.
Yeah.
So will everyone be making checklist in the bird atlas, or will the process go in a similar way? Like one
So,
person will be making a checklist.
okay, in the survey, one person will be creating the checklist if you are all together. Okay, let's say if you are all together birding as a team, one person is good enough to make the checklist and share it with you all.
Right.
Okay, that is the same process. So along with the sharing with you, you also need to share with the HBA account, HBA eBird account, which will share it with you later. You will understand what is it. We have a protocol session later where we talk about how you need to do bird watching in the field, which is coming up soon.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So what
Okay.
she asked is for people who don't know, you can share your checklist with friends. Let's say in this case, there is a share button, right? This is what she is talking about. Let's say Gopal is there with me during my survey. I can enter Gopal's name here and share the checklist. Now Gopal and me will have two separate checklists. And we'll be sharing the same species, 5 species, which are seen at Sanjaya Park, shared between both the birders. That is what Shivani was referring to. For people who don't know what is share. Okay, any other questions you have? So today's session is short, definitely, but very interesting, useful session because try to download these two apps, okay, Merlin and eBird. Both you start documenting birds which you are seeing in your neighborhood. Okay, eBird app is very useful for you. Even eBird app works in, but before that you need to also download packs for your region. I didn't mention that. Merlin sometimes once you download, you need to also download a pack. Pack is nothing else but a series of birds which are seen in that region can be downloaded. you will figure it out. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Okay. And eBird will help you to in places where there is no network also, you can use eBird. So that's the reason eBird offline app is a very useful tool in places where there is no network at all. Still you can submit, still you can create checklist. Not submit, but at least you can create checklist. Any other questions?
I think no further questions.
Yeah,
Okay. So I think we're
on
start
time.
on time. Yeah. Okay, on time. And people who has other session, you can join the other one.
Vikas has raised
Vikas,
Because
yeah, Vikas, go ahead.
Hey, hi. So as a beginner, I always used to have this, and it's a personal goal, and for others also. Uh, how do you? It would be good if someone knows that. How would you know that you've covered these many species and you haven't given a photo record for these species?
That's a very interesting question, and I think this is where the target species which we didn't discuss today.
Yes.
So let's say that okay, Vikas question for
I
people.
joined late. Sorry.
Okay. For people, Vikas question is very interesting question because I didn't talk about target species. Let's say even I use target species. Let's say that I wanted to see what birds I have photographed or I haven't photographed. Okay. In what region? Let's say I'm interested in birds which haven't photographed in Telangana region. Okay. That you can use it in target species and then show the list. Okay. And it gives me a list of there are 17 targets for me. And these are the birds where I didn't upload the pictures of these birds. Is it what you are asking, Vikas?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Nice.
So target species is not only for photographs, but let's say I'm going to a
Yes.
place, okay, where I am interested to see what all the species I haven't seen. For let's say I'm visiting Tamil Nadu. I'm just giving an example of Tamil Nadu, and I'm interested my entire life list in India. It gives you there are 52 target species for me in Tamil Nadu, which these are the birds I haven't seen in India, which are there in Tamil Nadu. And what is the frequency of seeing? See, there is a hardly any frequency, which means that these are all birds are extremely difficult. I think European bee-eater is one thing, which is a possibility for me. Rest of the species are difficult for me because the percentage is less than 1%. Okay, but this one varies for you. Okay, you all should try target species for Hyderabad. Guys, you can do this, take this as an exercise. Look for target species of yours in Hyderabad region. Okay, I think Farida Sultana is asking you a question.
Farida, go ahead.
So is it possible for us to see somebody else's checklist to see, I mean, what are the possible birds in that have been viewed in that area around that part of
Yeah,
the...
that we discussed. Let's say that, okay, now I'll give an example. I think we had this question saying that many times we're asking where are the flamingos, who has seen flamingos and those kind of questions, right? Usually we hear
Yeah, so
that.
little subtle question. I think so. You cannot see others' checklist, but what they have submitted, you can see.
Yeah, but if they have given permission, they can see
Yeah,
they
correct.
submitted checklist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say greater flamingo is one example. I think this is a frequently heard question. And now you see there is a greater flamingo which was reported from Kishareddypet Lake on 17th December. If
Oh, wow.
somebody wants to plan, let's say they are not sure how to go to Kishareddypet Lake, you can click this and there is a navigate button. Can you see?
Oh, yes.
Figure out from here.
Yes.
It will go to your My Maps and put direction, go to Kishareddypet Lake and try to figure out.
Okay.
All these are interlinked. Okay, this is very interesting, but this is all possible because somebody has created a checklist.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I think we'll close it on time because there are other sessions which are happening parallelly, so we don't want to conflict with other sessions. So no more questions. We'll try to close on time. And next session is a very interesting, important session and mandatory for everybody. Is about protocol. What protocol we are going to follow during the survey, and it's a mandatory session for all the participants. Now till now it is all for beginners. Next session is for all the people who are actually registered for Hyderabad Bird Atlas. So important session for everybody. Don't miss the next session, which will take some time, but in between you'll have a bird walk where you can put all that whatever you learned over a period of time in the last 5 sessions we'll put to use when we meet physically. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.